Welcome to Creators Blueprint.
Welcome to the Creators Blueprint, where we talk about unnecessary stuff and design. I'm here joined by Oscar Lima Dots Design. Say hi, Oscar.
Hello, everybody. My name is Oscar Lima Design, but just you can call me Oscar Lima.
And I'm yours truly, Dennis. What's designed by Dennis? There we go.
Designed by Dennis.
How are you doing today, sir?
Doing perfect. You know how it is. Almost the end of the week, and
Tomorrow's.
we skipped last week.
Yeah, we skipped last week due to some technical difficulties, but we're on track.
Hopefully.
Now. Yeah. So how's your week?
So I just said it's been good.
Any plans for the weekend?
Plans for the weekend, nothing but like things that I've done so far. Last weekend at least, I went go-karting. That was pretty fun. Yeah, in Palisade Park Mall.
Did he crash?
Nah, but it was pretty fun. It was pretty intimidating at first when you go sign up. Everyone's just like crashing into each other. Like you can see everybody else like riding, and everyone's crashing into each other. People are like sliding all over the floor and everything, like all over the road and stuff like that. But then as soon as it came down to it, like you get in it and you start racing. It's like super fun. Yeah, I went with like three other of my brother's friends, and it was pretty cool. But I didn't like do so good compared to them, but it was my first time, so yeah, it's pretty awesome. Too expensive though, but for 3 races, like $55 or something.
Really?
Each race is probably like 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
Anyways, what did you do last weekend? Anything good?
Let's see. So I went to the city for my boy's birthday. We went to this restaurant called Bergola. It's a Armenian spot where they have like hookah set up, and they have like 5 different flavors of hookah, and they're like the 3-foot hookahs that they're like very tall, and their service is very well. They bring you new charcoal every single 30 minutes, so you never burn out. After that, we went bar hopping in the city.
Yep.
And we landed in this spot called Copacabana by Times Square. And my dumbass busted my ass on the stairs on the railing. So there's these stairs in the middle of the club, like smacked in the middle. It connects the 2 floors, and then there's a railing throughout the middle. I was feeling myself at that time, so I wanted to slide down the railing, and I tried to, and I fell back. I tried to grab onto the railing, but I'm heavier now, and I kind of like injured my shoulder and landed on my tailbone at the same time. So the following morning, I woke up, and it was pretty hard for me to sit down, and I couldn't raise my shoulder up for like 2 days.
Yeah, you're sloppy.
But I'm better than ever. No, I'm playing. My ass still hurts, and my shoulder is still kind of sensitive.
I'm sorry.
But it was a great night.
Yeah. Now for an unnecessary topic, and this is not a necessary topic, but it's a topic that doesn't really relate too much to design. Have you heard about what's happening in Brazil with the Amazon forest?
All that fire.
Yeah,
it's out of control.
Deforestation or something.
Yeah, and then the president said something that he doesn't believe in climate change. How stupid could you be?
Yeah.
Tell me, like, ice caps are melting. Freaking, the Amazon fire is breaking records on the pace it's burning, and literally they're just ignoring all the facts.
Yeah, apparently it makes up 20% of the Earth's oxygen. So like obviously with that, and it has like over 3,000. Is it 3,000 species? Like different species.
It has to be way more than that.
Let me see.
But there's a video going around of like, did you see the video of like a town near the Amazon rainforest, and there was so much smoke that
Sao Paulo or something.
I'm not sure of the
like
city.
A city that's like on the so the Amazon forest is like more inner to like the middle of South America, kind of like just say more towards the center of South America, but like Sao Paulo, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but it's near the edge, the right side of like Brazil, and like the smoke has gone onto over there, and it's like causing basically the sky to just be full of smoke, and they can't really see like
Yeah, that was
the
a
blue
crazy
sky.
video. It was apparently like 3 in the afternoon,
Hmm.
and it seemed like it was nighttime. It seemed like the sun wasn't even out. That's how much smoke the Amazon is producing. There has to be a way to you know to have a solution to that. And, like, they're not even trying to help
Hmm.
out there. And I saw a crazy conspiracy about the Amazonians that live there, because there's a lot of like,
Tribes,
yeah, the,
people.
the tribes, the small towns, the villages, they were on a lawsuit against the oil companies that are setting up camps over there, and they're just clearing out a bunch of forests just so they could pump up oil. And apparently, like a few months ago or within this last year, uh, they lost a lawsuit, and they had to pack up their bags and leave. And I saw like a little conspiracy theory. Like, is it a coincidence that as soon as they have to pack up their stuff and leave, this happens?
Well, they're saying that like even yeah, there's like this is done like manually. This is not like an accident. Like people are actually burning continuously the forest.
Like, what's the purpose on that though? Do you think it's Do you think it's like an accident they did it, or like they're purposely?
They're doing purposely, I heard. And it doesn't help that like you said the president doesn't believe that like without the forest it would affect Earth. So he's allowing it to happen, and
Yeah,
he's not doing anything to stop it.
and that's where corruption probably happens. He's probably saying that because he got bought out from the whatchamacallit, the oil companies.
Hmm.
It's the same thing that happens with here in the guns in the USA. The NRA probably buys out these politicians, and these politicians are pro gun, just like in Brazil. Oil companies buy out politicians, and they don't believe in climate change.
Hmm.
It's a very slippery topic, but at the end of the day, they have to get their shit together, and the community has to come together and try to solve this huge problem. It would be very devastating to see the the forest go down like that, and many species go extinct. It's gonna be very tragic to see that.
And it's crazy how like everybody, like a lot of celebrities are like spreading the message, and I don't know how that's gonna help. Like, cause like I don't know if at the end of the day the president of Brazil has like the authority to be like, no, no one could do anything to here, cause like obviously maybe he could do those restrictions, and he could do whatever he wants maybe to his own like country. But like people like Cristiano Ronaldo, I know like Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande, what other people?
Bueno,
Madonna, like The Rock, I think I saw too. But like everyone is like spreading the word, and that's good. But I don't know if anything's gonna actually like come about from that.
and apparently, what was it? It's been burning for 15 days.
Yeah,
There
16
was
days.
no news coverage on that. Yeah, I think today is 16 days.
Yeah.
No news coverage on that, and we literally just got the news. You see how the media tricks us? They know what to put in your brain, and disregard everything else that's happening in the world. But yeah, I, it's quite devastating. Hopefully, like, the United States could go down there and help, but knowing our,
President.
let's not get political now.
But here, wait. Here it's saying that local newspapers say farmers in some regions are organized in fire days to take advantage of weaker enforcement by authorities. So it could be just farmers that are like doing this, and I don't know for what reason, but
More land space, probably.
more land space, whatever. All right, so that was that on
That's that it's very devastating to see that. I know that we have the money, the resources to go help out, these places. But you look, for example, when the Notre Dame that shit got on fire, it made like I don't know $1 billion just for a church. But like if the Amazon forest starts burning down, I see no donations or donating websites so far. And yeah, it shows that people are more interested in art than nature.
Yeah, it says $1 billion was raised in 2 days to rebuild the Notre Dame Cathedral, and that was like only like a part of the cathedral, not even the whole thing.
It was only the spire.
Yeah, the spire. Right?
It's only the tippy top.
And like you see all these celebrities like promoting like I said, like spreading awareness, but like are they doing anything other than I mean that's cool and everything, but like they could do more, I feel, right? Because I mean like everyone's aware now that that's the problem, but what can we do to help? You know?
I mean, what would you donate to?
That's the thing. I don't know who would do that and who would help, but it would definitely be. I don't know.
Maybe
that's too much. I don't know.
Maybe the Notre Dame could donate like $1 billion. None of my problem.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
So, in other news, how do you feel about sketching? Do you think it's dying out?
Sketching and design?
Yeah.
Is sketching and design dying out? For me right now, like.
Get closer to the mic.
All right. For me right now, I believe sketching is not dying out. I think it just depends on the designer and where you are designing. For me, like I'm not one of those designers that can just design off of like on Illustrator. Like I kind of need to like be able to mess around very quick with it, then like use a pen tool and like do one line.
I wish I could go back to that. That's another topic.
Like for me, it's like I need to be able to like draw it, erase, and then like be quick with it. Be like free with your hand. I feel like Illustrator is very like restricting and doesn't allow you to be loose with it. But yeah, for some things like you don't really have to sketch sometimes. Sometimes you could just fully design on Illustrator. But like for me personally, like I said, like I always liked sketching. How about you?
I love sketching, bro. I miss sketching. I feel like for certain areas, like I had a conversation with one of the higher ups in where I work at, and apparently these people think that sketching is turning obsolete, and that's not what they look for in a portfolio. They like it was such an interesting take because I disagree with them, but you can't do anything about it because they're the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they really don't look at the design process. They look at the end object, at how it works and would it work. More of the concept than the process, which really kind of hurt my soul, because we were taught to like show like sketches and concepts, and then move to like the more refined concept and the features, and then the hero shots and all that. But yeah, apparently like sketching is turning obsolete, and more people are moving into like Illustrator and all that, and I really it hurt. I hate to see it that it's kind of leaving, but I don't know. There's not much you could do about it.
The higher up that you were talking about, are they designers?
Yeah.
Damn, that's kind of sad. I would have thought like maybe they were just like the business person in the company.
No, it was designers, and it kind of really does suck, but
Put your lips on the mic.
it kind of really does suck, but it I don't know. I kind of feel like sketching is very essential to show your process and how you get into your concept, how you got into your concept. And without showing your sketches, like I feel like the designer can't express themselves. So
I feel like for some things, like if it's like very straightforward, as in like okay, you have a shoe and or anything, a product, and you have to like change the colorway and add like a graphic to it. Then sometimes you could just like not have to sketch at all. But then sometimes you need to sketch, and like when people think that you could just pop it up in your head and then off your head do it on Illustrator, like it just doesn't make sense. And so like I feel like the person that's telling you, the higher up person, I don't know if they really are true to that statement, like cuz then like how could you hire another designer not knowing how they came up with the final product, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like I feel like definitely you need to see some type of sketching on how you
Well,
develop
uh,
your stuff.
well, she didn't say you don't have to show the progress. Like, you don't have to show the ideation in the sketching process. You could show like 2, 3 concepts,
Mm.
but I feel like that's not enough at all. I feel like you would have to have like a whole page like showing from your initial sketch, not your initial sketch, but like from the beginning all, and it carries down all the way to the end.
Mm.
I feel like the ideation part is like the most important part of the design process.
Mm.
But yeah, apparently it's a dying art form, and especially with and especially it's a dying art form when it comes to pencil, pen, paper. That's not a thing anymore, and people are using more Wacom's.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like I just for me, I send like a JPEG of what I'm designing. I send it to my iPad, and then from there I use Procreate, for example, and I sketch there, and I could do layers. So it's like I'm using multiple sheets of paper. Um, I just feel like what's the point of printing it out versus just to like throw them out eventually. For me, I just think it's quicker to like just do it on my iPad. It's like the same thing. Like it's loose and everything. Just I'm not printing out the paper. That's it. That's what I think is the difference, and that's what I've been doing recently, and I think it actually works pretty good. Just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't it?
I do agree. Like sketching, um, it doesn't matter if it's pen or I mean pen, paper, or Wacom.
Digital, yeah.
It's the same thing, but yeah, I think sketching pen paper is a dying art, and we actually got to see that through college.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in our college days, that's when we literally like our class starts to transition from pen and paper to Wacom's. I wonder if they have Wacom classes in college now. They probably do.
Probably do. Yeah. Um.
But yeah, it's also irritating.
What?
Other than sketches being
Obsolete, like you
getting
said.
obsolete is how they change throughout the design process. Like you would be having a great bomb ass sketch in
Yeah.
in whatever you sketch on, but like the final product doesn't get translated into what you're trying to create or what you designed on paper.
Yeah.
Like if you're making a model of a sketch you did like out of foam, the model is not matching up with the sketch, and therefore you just get frustrated, and I don't know, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, but you won't be able to translate it, and it gets frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I I do feel the same way. Like there's some times where like you design like loosely on like sketching in your sketching phase, and then when it gets taken into the room of like let's say salespeople, gets sent out to like China, like to your factory to be made and stuff like that. And when you get the final product, like there's things that have been altered. It's not like exactly one to one what you had envisioned in your sketch. And I think that just comes down to how like let's just say your sketch looks how you love it to look, but then you get into the room and you get like like told to revise certain things, like, oh, remove this certain detail, add this certain detail, um, make this color that color, change this complete, like basically a bunch of stuff happens while you're in a meeting or whatever, and then that sketch that you had before is like no longer going to look like the final product that you're gonna send out to get like made in, let's say, wherever factory your factory is, um, and that just is what it is. Like sometimes, that's like, for example, I had responded to a post, a comment that we had on our IG.
Yeah.
So we had posted a design by I need to figure out his name, but wait.
But long story short, yeah, we posted we reposted a sketch of some footwear onto the Creators Blueprint Instagram, and there was it was Garcilaso,
Yeah, I'm trying to
at
find his
name
real name.
Garcilaso,
Yeah.
Garcilazo. He had a very not a tight sketch, a very loose sketch of a footwear, the anatomy of a foot, and the sole. It was like a very nice 3-dimensional sketches followed by what do you say, like Photoshop renderings. It was a very great concept with like with a model at the end of the actual shoe. So he basically showed the design progress, and a person by the name of Lynn Fuming commented saying the rear part of the sketch is better than the finished product, and that got us thinking how a sketch translates to the final product. Some people would prefer the sketch, maybe because of the sketching style, the how it looks more dynamic, it looks more edgier than the actual product.
Mhm.
And that's a good conversation to have, because us designers, we all have individual sketching styles
Yeah.
that does make the product look better,
Cool.
cooler, sleeker,
Fast.
faster,
But-
stronger.
But that's not how it's always gonna look at the end of the day. Like sometimes, like when people are designing like footwear, they make, like, let's say the toe shape look more dynamic. But obviously, if you were to do that 1-to-1,
It's not gonna
it's
fit
not
your
gonna
toe.
fit. It's not gonna fit nicely on your foot. So like things like that have to be adjusted when it goes like over to the factory. Um, let's say like in this case, it was like, wait, you already said the heel, how it was like.
Yeah.
So like in this case, how the heel is pointy and how it got adjusted to be more rounder. Maybe like it flowed better. It flowed, yeah, better with the whole shape of the outsole. So that's why that was adjusted. So obviously it doesn't look like the first sketch. And that's like the confusion that I guess most people get when they like, I guess at first glance they're like, oh, the sketch is awesome. Then when they see the final product, they're like, but it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And like what some people like I kind of don't see is like all these steps that go in between, where there are changes, there are revisions, there's alterations, and yeah, that was the case in this one.
Yeah, like when I look at the top and bottom ortho views of the shoe, I feel like the sole is much more edgier. It has a more of a like it has more of a deepened shadow. But when you look at the final product, it's much more bubbly. I mean, it's a very great concept. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
But it's a very interesting way how styles could affect the outcome of what you're trying to do.
and obviously like what he actually sent out to his factory is probably not seen here on his project,
Yeah.
like portfolio piece. But like when he has to send it to his factory, like it has to be pretty 1-to-1 to like what he wants.
Yeah, so you
know?
would have to alter
Yeah.
the sketch to to fit 1-to-1 for the spec.
Uh-huh.
But like for the people out there, what's the spec?
So a spec is kind of what would happen is you take the sketch, and if it doesn't look that realistic, you'll have to make it proportioned correctly, make the toe shape actually be able to fit your toe, make the heel actually be able to fit your heel comfortably and stuff like that. And then everything has to be like how you want it to look, measured out. Usually everything's measured out, and then that is like, it's a good footprint as to like how your shoe should come out. And then you would send that to your factory, and then like it'll look like a flat side view of an actual shoe that would be on the shelf.
Yeah, the specs usually don't have any style, it does have
Flashiness to it.
any flashiness. It's just like straight on how the shoe would look like, proportionally. And you would also have to add the Pantone colors,
Yeah.
depending by like the material you're using. TCX is for cotton, TPX is for I think plastics. So like you have to be very specific with the colors that the Pantones you use, because they do not translate on different materials. So yeah, you note down the Pantones, and then from there the dimensions, and you call out the materials you're using for your product.
But
That's
that
yeah.
but like that's not shown in the portfolio.
Yeah,
piece,
that's
so
not shown in the post we did.
it's missing, and like he's not. So the guy that designed this, his name is, just so I could get it right, because actually the person that we tagged on our post, they are not him. I don't know who got tagged into that. What the?
Anywho, but yeah, Oscar's iPhone just froze, but that's irrelevant.
Okay, yeah, his name is Rolando Hernandez. Yeah, I'm butchering this.
So the
Garcelazo.
oh okay.
Garcelazo.
So
Yeah.
that person that I just shouted out, it wasn't even the Korean.
I mean, that's his name on Behance. But
Yeah.
on Instagram, it belongs to a lady from, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
a
a
lady.
mother.
Yeah.
But
So that's that.
so yeah, that's that post. Anything else you want to see when the translation between the design and the final product?
Yeah, you just gotta keep in mind, it's like usually your sketches never come out how you want your final product to look like. It'll be rare, because there's so many people giving you inputs on the whole like process. So I wouldn't uphold the sketch to be like the standard. You should just if you're able to see the spec that's sent to the factory, then you should compare that and be like, oh, this doesn't match, and that's where you can complain, not the sketch compared to the final product. And that's it on that topic.
Well, there was
Okay.
this one there was this one time where like I had this Illustrator rendering that was being presented, but on the Illustrator rendering, I put an overlay to give it a shine,
Oh man, got it.
and that shine like
Came out.
it came out great. It looks much better than the product they have now. So like the boss wanted that type of shine into the piece that we were working on. But that's when I realized that like, you have to be careful what you show on the Illustrator, because sometimes what you do on the sketch or like your revised sketch would have to like it kind of gives you more work later on. And so yeah, we had to request like a different finish just because I put an effect on the shine. And it kind of sucks because at the end of the day, it's all about costing, and we couldn't afford that finish that was on the shine.
Yeah.
On the rendering.
And also one thing is like sometimes there's this thing called like sublimation, like in footwear, like where you'll have a print and you'll tell them to put that print onto like the mesh of a shoe, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be literally like they'll take let's say a JPEG of what you have designed, and they'll print it on top of the mesh, right? So it could be like anything, right? But there's times where if you send it over to them with like a highlight on it, they'll put it on your shoe with the highlight on it.
Yeah.
So like that you have to keep in mind too. You have to make sure that you send them a flat image of what you want it to look like, not like the final rendering thing, because sometimes it's misinterpreted and it's like they actually put all like the highlights that you have on the Illustrator file onto the final product, and that's not what you really want.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Also, yeah, in the spec, you would have to be very flat with your colors because they'll do literally everything you put onto the spec. Like you have to be very specific. Like let's say if you're like mapping out parts, like let's say trim is yellow, green is your main body fabric, and then orange is secondary body fabric. You would have to note that on the page because you'll literally come back with a sample with an orange body fabric, and then the trim would be yellow, and it would be literally the exact same sketch you did just for like call outs, other than like they would think it's gonna be the material color. So yeah, you have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
But what's also aggravating?
What?
How your design changes by other people.
Oh yeah, like that process.
Yeah, like you would like you alone would change your own design, or like the design team would change the design multiple times.
Or the salespeople. Or
But
the
then
clients.
comes people from the outside of the creative minds
Yeah.
that change your design. It's kind of frustrating. Oh, I just saw the chair. Oh, it's lucky. I saw the chair move. It was ghost. But yeah, and I feel like salespeople know what they want, what sells, what doesn't sell, but that kind of restricts the creator from its imagination.
So yeah, like you're saying, yeah, that happens all the time. You'll come in with like a CAD, and you'll think it's perfect, obviously, and then there's like a salesperson that's gonna say, "Hey, we like this, but remove this." And then there's the client that you're like designing for, and they'll probably be like, "Hey, we want you to do this as that." And like there's sometimes where you'll think like they're not correct, and you'll probably have a good reason for it, but it's not what you want or what you think is correct. It's what they want at the end of the day. And that happens like a lot of times, but most, I don't know, like for me at least, like I just, unless I really really like love the product, and like I don't know, maybe see it as a portfolio piece for myself, I'll probably try to like put an effort to like kind of sway them into the direction that I would like, and I try to have evidence as to why I want it to be that way, like real like reasoning behind it. But then sometimes like it gets to the point where they're like editing colorways over and over,
Like
like
they're the designer, and you're
yeah,
just out here sketching what you want.
yeah. So like you'll be having a design, it'll be finished, they'll approve it, but then they're like, "Hey, can we put this in, let's say navy, red, and yellow?" You send it out, then they come back to you like, "Hey, no, change this to pink, purple, and gold." Send it out. Comes back, change it to turquoise, like, and it keeps going, and it gets to the point where you're just like, just end it, man. Like I don't, like I just want to like finish it and stuff like that. But most times I try to just understand them and like trying to find a balance in that.
So
I don't get that aggravated. I don't know how you get. What do you
like
think?
I learned not to like fall in love with the design. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I know that like the designs I make are just gonna like get washed away, and I really don't care. But it does get aggravating when they tell you that this product is how could I explain it? It like the design that you designed is similar to the product that's already out there. but it is not, because since you're the designer and designers look at details, you could clearly see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, here's the story. So one time I was designing a logo for like one of my friends that he owns a restaurant, and I wasn't really designing. I was redesigning the logo. So he gave me his old logo, which had gradients, had like backdrops. It was like too busy.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is took that logo and simplified it, and I removed the gradients, made it more HD and all that, and then I showed it to my brother, and I'm like, "Which one do you like better, the newer one or the older one?" And he goes like, "I don't see a difference. They look the same to me."
Mm-hmm.
And then in my mind, I was like, "Bro, like these are two complete, like they have the same like image, like they have the same like concept, but one is much more cleaner than the other." And I removed a lot of the busyness that was going on. And then I showed it to like another designer from my old job, and you were like, "Yeah, I clearly see the difference. Like yours is so much better, cleaner. There's not so much going on. You removed the backdrops and all that." And at that moment, I realized that like there's two types of ways people look at it. The business people look at the larger picture, while the designers look at the smaller picture.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I've learned that you have to back up your reasoning and actually explain detail by
Thoroughly.
detail,
Yeah, yeah.
thoroughly what you did, because people that don't have the creative mind will not see what you changed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of really frustrating. And at the end of the day, most of the time, the people that run your design
Mm-hmm.
are the people that can't look at the details.
Yeah, like the buyers and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They're like people that they just have the power to be like, yes, put that shoe on the shelf, put that product on the shelf and stuff like that. But do they have a creative mind? Do they design themselves? Most times I don't think so.
No.
Right? So like I don't know how they get the power to do that. Like they pick whatever shoe is out next season for like the biggest athlete. They'll pick like all this stuff, right? The best thing that you could do as a designer is to like try to influence them to go a certain way and have good reasoning, and then that should influence the buyer or the sales representative to like see your view, and like that becomes their view of it too. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
And then
though.
they have the nerve to tell the design team to innovate.
Mm.
Like, we can't innovate because you guys don't see the innovation.
Unless you work for a
And-
big head like Nike, Adidas, like people that like influence, like let's say influence the scene of design and stuff like that.
You know what also grinds my gears?
What?
When, like, you're trying to innovate and they complain about you innovating because the cost will be too much on what you're trying to do. At that point, you can't do anything. You try to design, you can't design, and when you do design, those other people design for you.
Yeah, because they just most times it's business and you gotta play it safe. Most times.
And this is the biggest question of them all. Who gets paid more?
The buyers and the sellers, right?
Yeah. We're like the backbone of everything. And we don't get paid shit.
True.
Like, without us, there won't be anything
Any designs to pick from, to criticize, to
change.
to revise.
Like,
to
if
change.
they don't need us, how come those salespeople could design them themselves?
They can't.
They can't, because we... Oh, my God. Let's do a worldwide strike. Let's do a worldwide strike. All the designers...
Let's all stop sketching.
Let's all, let's all stop sketching. Let's all stop creating and see who really wins. Let's have a minimum of, like, I don't know, $100K a year salary, because we are the backbone. We're like the ghostwriters of everything. Think about it. Put that on my tombstone.
Okay.
Okay, so
Next thing we're gonna talk about is our IG posts.
oh shit.
Let's see who are the lucky few that got posted on Creators Blueprint G. All right, so we'll start first with this is your post that you selected. It's the Eve anti-aggression bracelet.
Yeah. So, yeah, this post is a series of images or renderings showcasing a bracelet that wraps around your wrist, and it goes around the webbing of your thumb, and it is used by shaking it to unlock it, and you press on the part that goes around your thumb, and that triggers a GPS tracker, and it contacts the police for safety purposes, and it's for and it's it's targeted for the people, for like especially like women that feel like they're in an uncomfortable situation.
Got it.
So yeah, it's a pretty nice concept. I really like the renderings. Apparently, it's a key shot, and you see like the detail of the webbing to it.
Damn, it's pretty cool. It's like a superhero type thing. You shake your hand and just fist up.
You shake your hand and you fist
That's
up.
what it is. You shake your hand and fist up.
It's
boom.
a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, you can save many women. So yeah, check out their Instagram. It's Eve_safe_bracelet. It's an emergency tracker.
Awesome.
So yeah, I also like the colors they use for these renderings. It's more of a purple hue, even with the components. I don't even know how to make the circuit boards light up, but they make it light up. It's a very nice concept.
I don't think it lights up.
I don't think it lights up. It's just like the lights around the environment of in Keyshot.
Yeah. That's cool.
They're like the most impressive thing is the texture of the fabric. I don't even know you could do that on Keyshot.
Damn. Yeah, it looks nice. Okay.
Cool.
Next one on the list. I picked this one designed by .man. It was so this designer they did a collaboration between the BMW shoe and Jordan 1s. So basically, yeah, he collaborated them, and he put, like, for example, Motorsport tag by BMW, and he put that underneath the Nike swoosh on the quarter, and then he put the BMW logo on the collar of the shoe, and then overall the whole shoe is colored in like a chrome gray, like light.
It's a very light gray.
Very
it's not
light
even
gray tone. And then the blue hints, and then obviously on the back heel counter you have like the BMW like color scheme that they use, like the light blue, dark blue, and then the red color as like a little touch on the heel counter. And then he did a shirt that would go with this shoe. So like overall he did like the whole kind of branding around it. Like he put Gotham right behind the shoe, and that's kind of what you get. Like that's the line that you get if you like. Okay, so if you go on Nike's app called Sneakers, right?
Mhm.
And usually they drop a lot of shoes, and when you get them, they'll say got them, and if you don't get them, they say something else. Like they'll say probably like did not get them or something. So like he puts that type of tag on the shoe, kind of symbolizing that like, oh, he like it would be something sold through that sneaker app or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously you got a few inspiration pictures detailing like where he got inspired for the colorway and stuff like that. And that's about it for that. Overall, I picked it because I liked how he was able to brand it together with mashing up the BMW with the Nike, and then overall seeing how and what it would look like. So I like that post.
Dope. Cool. All right, so the following post is picked by me. It's a flexible thermostat created by Creative Mutation. It is it's a very interesting idea because you always see thermostats on the center of walls and never on the edge. So this man, Creative Mutant, or also known as Amon Agrawal, He created a flexible thermostat that goes on the edge of your wall, and the technology behind it is kind of interesting because it has a screen, and since companies are innovating screens to make them flexible, he took advantage of that and put it in his concept. So the knob to turn the thermostat would be on one side of the wall, while the screen would be on the other side. It will just fold over the edge of your wall. It's a pretty cool concept. So the post consists of a series of renderings showing like the thermostat, which is a touchscreen, was a huge circular knob. You could see a flat and in one image, and then on the following image you see it rounded onto the corner. Pretty nice keyshot renderings. Is it keyshot? Pretty hope it's keyshot.
I'm not sure, but you can execute this in Keyshot.
Yeah, you
That's
could.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it just shows a series of renderings.
Yeah, it's like a cool way, like a new generation type thermostat.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
And then the final one, which we already talked about, so I don't know if we should talk about it again.
Yeah, we shouldn't. We had like a whole
Yeah.
topic on it. The last and final one was the shoe rendering that we talked earlier.
The Nike Free 2019 Type 5.0 shoe.
Bam!
Yeah, and it basically goes from the initial sketch to the final rendering that was probably done, like you were saying, Photoshop or even Sketchbook Pro. And then the final product is shown in the picture.
Yeah, the actual model of the shoe.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
about it for that. And I picked it because it was nice to see like an actual shoe, a big shoe by Nike that you could see from like the sketch phase to the illustrator phase to the final product. Yeah. So it's cool.
I like
Showcase that.
seeing Instagram posts that show the progress of the project, or a series of renderings showcasing different views and angles of the thing. But yep, I think that's all for today. We were 47 minutes strong. If you want to end in the
Final thoughts?
final thoughts of what?
That's about it. I would say just make sure to try to comment, like leave a comment, try to like give us some things that you would like us to talk about, and make sure to use our hashtag on your posts so that we could see it and then hopefully repost them,
Or
and then we
tag
could
us.
talk about it.
So follow us on Creators Blueprint. Subscribe on YouTube, Creators Blueprint.
Everything's Creative Blueprint, basically.
Follow us. Subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify, also Podbean. And follow Oscar at oscarlima.design and me, Design by Dennis. And take care, stay golden, know the drugs. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.